Hello learners, I am Dr. Vikram Singh, Associate Professor, Department of Social Work, Regional Campus Manipur, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. In today's lecture, we will be discussing about Gandhian social work, the historical perspective. The objectives of this lecture is to understand the origin and development of Gandhian social work in South Africa, application of the methods and technique of Gandhian social work in India, last but not the least, Gandhian's role as a social activist, social reformer, social worker, and characteristics of Gandhian social work. After going through the Gandhian model of an ideal society, the values on which it is to be based, the constructive program to be executed for its achievement, and the methods. It would be interesting to know the origin and gradual development of Gandhian social work vis-a-vis the environment in which it was developed. Before we go through the historical development of Gandhian social work, it is to be noted that all Gandhian activities can be put into three categories. Some of them were purely political in nature, such as attending round table conferences with the British government and Quit India movement. It was the need of the era. But the remaining activities like promotion of khadi and eradication of untouchability and alcoholism did have social as well as political connotations, where it is difficult to separate the two. In the following page, we are leaving aside the political aspect of Gandhian endeavour, concentrating only on the later two categories in order to have deeper understanding of Gandhi, the social actionist and the social worker. If one read Gandhi's autobiography, My Experiments If one reads Gandhiji's autobiography, My Experiments with My Truth, with a social work angle, he will find that it includes his experimentations with social philosophy and method as well, which continued throughout his lifetime. It is also to be noted that Gandhi has repeatedly said that he had nothing new to teach the world, and truth and non-violence are as old hills. There is nothing like Gandhism. He would also have said that there was nothing like Gandhian social work. But I is a fact that during his lifetime, Gandhi and Gandhian social work had become synonymous. What he did for the social causes was followed and practiced by lakhs of people. It gradually emerged as a unique school of thought and action in the field of social welfare and is now recognized by social scientists as Gandhian social work. So now we will discuss about Gandhi as a social activist. Gandhi's evaluation as a social activist began in South Africa in the year 1893 when Barrister Gandhi was thrown out of the first class compartment by white railway staff despite his having a valid ticket. Throughout his tenure in South Africa, he faced omission and insult because of his black skin. But unlike other Indians in South Africa, he did not swallow them and developed a philosophical base and methodology to fight against dignity of a man is the value insisted both by Gandhian and professional social workers. Gandhi's discontent with the existing condition is spread among the Indian community in that country, which ultimately resulted in the foundation of National India Congress on 22nd May 1893. It functioned to ventilate India's needs and grievances, to stimulate their thoughts and to motivate them for community services. It also worked towards acquainting the English in South Africa and England and people in India, which the real state of things in Natal and South Africa. This approach is quite similar to that in the method of professional social work, namely social action and community organization, in which discontent with the existing conditions is spread among people and they are motivated to form their own association to improve upon them. Gandhi also published tracts on the condition of immigrants Indian in South Africa in July 1896. He returned to India and continued educating the public about Social Africa situation. He returned to South Africa after 3 months and continued his crusade against apartheid by writing to India and British public man, representing to Indian National Congress, colonial and imperial authorities, moving a resolution for the Congress session held in the year 1900 in India. The struggling against led by Gandhi in South Africa continued for a long period of about 21 years till the year 1914, which include holding mass meeting, opposed the Black Act, which was based on social discrimination, organizing passive resistance, which was later known as a Satyagraha, imprisonment of thousands of Indian men and women, appealing the media to support the struggle, lobbying at the British Parliament, publication of the newspaper in the support of the movement, negotiation with the authorities, strike in the mines by Indian labour, and the Great Foot March by thousands of the Indians from Newcastle to Dundee, which took about 4 months. This is one of the classic example of what the professional social workers call social action. Each and every technique of social action was used in that movement. Development and use of social techniques. The scholars of Gandhian social work regard South Africa as Gandhi's socio-political laboratory, where he tested various techniques which were later used on very large scale to overturn British rule in India. It was here that Gandhi coined the word Satyagraha, became a journalist, a public orator, and founded the ashram, the agency which for Gandhian social work serves as a place for group living and thinking, social education, training of human resources, publishing house and naturopathy clinic. Such ashram founded either by Gandhi or his followers are still active in large number all over the country. Measure of social welfare. Apart from his social action movement in South Africa, Gandhi along with colleagues and followers engaged in welfare activities as well. In 1899, he raised the Indian Ambulance Corps to serve the victim of the Boer War and was awarded a war medal. Simply in the year 1904 and 1906, he offered paramedical services during the outbreak of a plague and the Zulu rebellion, respectively, and was awarded the Kesari-Hind Gold Medal by British government in recognition of his social services. Sarvodaya, Rise of All. The year 1904 brought a revolutionary change in Gandhi's life and thinking. During a train journey in South Africa, he went through a book entitled Unto This Last, written by the great Western thinker Ruskin Bond. The postulates of Ruskin's theory as laid down in this book are: the good of the individuals is contained in the good of all. A lawyer's work has the same value as the barber's, since all have the same right to earn their livelihood from their work. The life of labor, that is, the life of the tiller of the soil and the handicraftsman, is the life of worth living. Gandhi translated the book into Gujarati under the title Sarvodaya, which besides Gita, Tulsi Ramayana, and the work by great Western philosophers like Tolstoy, Henry David, proved to be base of Gandhian philosophy and actions. Invention of Satyagraha. And it was in South Africa that one of the great discoveries in the history of Gandhian social work took place in the year 1908, when Gandhi replaced the word passive resistance with another more powerful and new word coined by him, a contribution to the dictionary of social sciences. The word was Satyagraha, recourse of truth, force or soul force. We have already discussed Satyagraha in the preceding pages of this book and the lectures, giving social work a secular cum spiritual base. When Gandhi left South Africa for good and finally come to India on 9th January 1915, it was already bearing the title Karamveer, conferred on him by the Indian people. With his arrival, a new era in India began, which lasted for about 33 years, affecting almost walks of life including social work. No doubt India has very long and rich history of social welfare, but in British India it was put in a religious garb. Social work was being undertaken mostly by the followers of Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Zoroastrians, Jain, Sikh, etc. Gandhi gave it a secular cum spiritual base. Welfare of farmers, labor and students. In the initial phase of his social work practice in India, we continue to see Gandhi as a social activist. After founding Sabarmati Ashram on the banks of the rivers Sabarmati in Ahmedabad, after founding Sabarmati Ashram on the bank of river Sabarmati in Ahmedabad on 20th May 1915, Gandhi proceeded to Champaran, Bihar, to protest against the tyranny and exploitation of the indigo farmers by British planters. In 1918, he took up the cause of the textile labourers of Ahmedabad and used fasting as a non-violent weapon for the first time in India to secure an amicable settlement of the dispute. In the same year, he initiated Satyagraha in Kaira in Gujarat in support of the farmers. Then, Khadi for the socio-economic independence. As mentioned earlier, the Gandhian concept of total freedom consisted of not only political but also social and economic freedom as well. For economic freedom, he regarded charkha, the spinning wheel, as the most powerful instrument which could provided a means of livelihood to crores of poor people living in villages and towns of India. With this purpose, a target of setting up to 20 lakh charkhas in the country was fixed and a country-wide campaign was initiated in 1921 to boycott foreign cloth and good which deprived the poor artisans of their employment. The campaign was carried on by thousands of Gandhian social workers despite Gandhi's imprisonment for about 4 years, that is 1922 to 1924, breaking unjust laws and reducing social distance. The British policy of divide and rule is a historical fact which was executed to weaken the social fabric by increasing the already existing social distances between the people, owing to religion, caste, language, etc. Gandhi was aware of it and he took the first step in this direction by observing fast for 21 days for Hindu-Muslim unity in September 1924. The year 1930 is another milestone in the history of Gandhian social work, when Gandhi decided to use the weapon of civil disobedience to break the unjust salt law, through which British government wanted to impose a 46% tax on kitchen salt, making the lives of millions of poor Indians are more miserable. Social action for social integration. The power of Satyagraha was once again established when Gandhi on 20th September 1932 commenced fast unto death in jail to secure the abolition of separate electorates for Harijans. The separate electorates for Harijan were one more example of the British government. The British government adopted a policy to widen the gap between different communities, this time Harijan and Savarnas. The fast was broken on 26 September on the government's acceptance of his demands regarding Harijans. Within a week after his release from a jail, a huge public meeting was organized in Bombay under the chairpersonship of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya on 30th September. It is decided to launch an All India Association against practice of untouchability. This organization was later known as Harijan Sevak Sangh and is still active in the country. The publication of the periodical Harijan in February 1933 was a byproduct of his Satyagraha, which expressed Gandhi's intention to concrete on the plight of Harijan and the social evil of untouchability. In July 1930, he even disbanded the Sabarmati Ashram and gave it for the cause of untouchables. This ashram is now managed by Harijan Sevak Sangh. The same year, in August, he went on a fast after being denied to carry on anti-touchability propaganda. He was arrested and then released unconditionally after about 28 days. The turning point away from active politics. Gandhian social work activities had some political tinge, which was the need of the hour. But on 17 September 1937, he took a historic decision which proved to be a turning point in the history of Gandhi's as a social worker. The decision was to retire from active politics and to devote all his time and energy to social work with the following priorities. The first is untouchability eradication, second is total prohibition, third is Hindu-Muslim unity, fourth is Khadi Gramodaya and Swadeshi, fifth is organization of lakhs of villages in India. Although the situation in the country and the pressure compelled him later to review his decision, about 5 years he devoted totally to social work proved to be boon to millions of poor people, particularly the Harijans. On 26 October 1934, he was inaugurated All India Village Industries Association, which is still active as Khadi and Village Industries, aiming at giving employment to a large number of people at their own places of living, mostly in villages. Now we will discuss about the character of social reconstruction. Gandhi and his fellow social workers in large number had working in various fields of welfare and development, like eradication of untouchability, provision, khadi and rural industry, tribal welfare, cow protection, etc. It was in the year 1941 that all such activities were codified by him and published in a consolidated form under the title Constructive Program, its meaning and place. Gandhi called it the program of construction of Purn Swaraj, or complete independence by truthful and non-violent means. This 19-point program, of which the details are available in the preceding pages, is popularly known as a Gandhi's 19-point constructive program and is still regarded as the Bible of socio-economic development by the Gandhian social worker in the country. So, the next program was related to the women and child welfare, and the next program was related to the war against alcoholism. Now, we will discuss about the Gandhi, the one-man army for peace and social reorganization. After the independence, unlike natural dawn, brought more fire and heat than light, the seed of communal hatred sown by British was now producing the bitter fruits of violence. It was the year 1946 which brought the acid test to Gandhi's conviction of non-violence and social fraternity. Riots between Hindu and Muslim erupted in Kolkata, Naukheli, Bengal, Bihar, Delhi and several other places in the country like chain reactions. Leaving aside the jubilation of forthcoming freedom, he rushed to the right, striking places many times, sometime on foot, with a time of span about 1 year, beginning in October 1946. To bring the two largest sections of the Indian society, Hindu and Muslim, together, he put his life at stake, observed fast, stayed in the heart of riot affected area and faced the wrath of mobs. Ultimately, his satyagraha was successful in stopping communal violence at many places in India. Characteristics of Gandhian social work. After analyzing Gandhi's social work activities for more than 5 decades, the following characteristics can be attributed to Gandhian social work. The one was a new indigenous model of Indian society. Gandhi is regarded as the first social thinker in India who presented a complete picture of an ideal Indian society, giving thought to every aspect, such as the nature of the state and its administration, defense, health, sanitation, housing, education, employment, development of weaker section and eradication of various social problems such as untouchability, alcoholism, poverty, etc. The second is new philosophy of social work. Although Gandhi said that his value and principles are as old as the hills, the way in which he codified and presented them and made them the base of social and political activities was unique. The code of conduct formulated for Gandhian social work is also noteworthy. The third one is a practical philosophy. Gandhi was not an armchair thinker. He practiced what he proclaimed. One can see consistency in his thinking and deeds. His 19-point constructive program is an excellent His 19-point constructive program is an excellent example of a system converting theory into practice. The next is invention and discovery of methods and techniques of social work. Fasting, foot march, boycott, etc. had been age-old practices in Indian society, but mostly they were practiced at religious and caste levels. Gandhi gave them a new meaningful and utility by applying them at the mass level to achieve socio-political goals. The concept of civil disobedience was borrowed from the great Western philosopher Henry David Thoreau, but Satyagraha can be regarded as an invention unknown in social science. The Satyagraha practiced by him and his followers offers so many classic case studies for the students of social action. The next is from social reform to social development. No doubt Gandhi did start a social activist and a social reformer. It was an era of social reform in the country, but unlike many other social reformers, he did not stop at that stage and proceeded further for the welfare and development of the victim of social problems. As a matter of fact, he did not believe in doing patchwork on severely torn and multilayered social fabric, but aimed at constructing a new society. The next is national network of workers and institutions. In the last phase of his life, Gandhi had suggested the dissolution of the Congress party, creating instead Lok Sevak Sangh, an organization free from politics and devoted fully to social work. Although the idea did not materialize yet, he left a legacy of nationwide network consisting of a large number of social workers, who are now known as Gandhian or Sarvodaya workers, and the institutions which are still working on Gandhian philosophy and approaches to sustainable development. The next is secular social work. Before Gandhi's arrival, the majority of social organizations in India were working under religious banners. Gandhi gave a secular, rather spiritual base to social work. Unlike the modern concept of secularism, his social work did not keep away from religion, but it picked up soothing and motivating elements from all the religion. The next is research, training and publication. Like professional social workers, there is a provision of training for the Gandhian social worker as well. Ashram all over the country offering short-term and long-term courses as well as refresher courses for the workers. Institute like Gandhi Vidyapeeth, Ahmedabad and Kashi Vidyapeeth, Varanasi, which have now been awarded the status of deemed university in Free India, are also active, among with several other universities which have special chairs and offer diploma degree courses through formal and distance education modes on Gandhian studies. There are specific institutes like the Institute of Gandhian Studies Varanasi, which are devoted to research and organize seminars and conferences on Gandhian affairs. So, in the conclusion of this lecture, we can discuss that through this lecture, we have seen the emergence of Gandhi as a social activist, a reformer and a social worker, which is synonymous to the origin and development of Gandhian social work, first in South Africa and then in India. His impact would be seen in almost all sectors of social work, such as the welfare of farmers, labor students, spinners, weavers, women, children, leprosy patients, the untouchables and the tribal, etc. At the time of the partition of India, he personally went to the right sticker villages and cities and was successful in establishing communal harmony, acting as a one-man army. However, the Gandhian social work in the pre-independence period is characterized by its own model of ideal society and a new philosophy of social work, a shift from social reform to social development, a nationwide network of the social workers and agencies, secularism and provision for its own kind of training, research and publication. So, this is for the today. Thank you.